Craftsmanship and customer service speaks for itself. Plus, all first responders, veterans, and active military will save an additional $500 off your purchase. Visit our beautiful showroom at 8741 North Kimball Road in Clayton.
Right on Dayton's ESPN radio station, WING 1410. Hey, everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows y'all. I really don't. Backley, Justin Kenner, 1410 ESPN radio. Kenner and Slimmer, right back.
And ESPN Radio.
1410 Wing AM, Dayton's ESPN Radio, powered by.
The future depends on teachers who are reinventing the classroom and starting their students on.
Roughly 33 ounces of gold at the spot price. At today's prices, those 33 ounces would be worth over $150,000. Smart Americans diversify a portion of their savings into precious metals. That's why I buy gold from Birch Gold Group. It's a crucial part of my balanced strategy. Gives me peace of mind given all the events that could impact the U.S. economy. See if holding gold in a tax-sheltered retirement account is right for you too. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. Just text my name, Dan, to the number 989898 to receive your free info kit on gold. There's no obligation, just useful information. With an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, let Birch Gold help you diversify with gold. Now that's peace of mind. Text Dan to 989898. Again, text my name, Dan, to the number 989898 today. Message and data rates apply.
It's the Race Cars and Future Stars Expo 2026, March 20th through 22nd at the Pickwas Center. Friday and Saturday, 11 to 9. Sunday, noon to 5. Saturday is Kids Day with balloon artists, face painting, and the Dayton Race Fans Benefit Auction at 1 o'clock. Over 60 race cars from Ohio and Indiana. Your chance to be up close with some of the best cars and drivers in area, food, fun, and entertainment. Admission is free. The Race Cars and Future Stars Expo at the Pickwas Center, I-75, exit 82. Don't miss it.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Progressive knows that boat days can come with unexpected problems.
It's been a tough Saturday on the lake. I ordered swim trunks in this orange cream color, but it's actually more orange auburn. Oh, and it's swimwear. I probably can't even return these.
If a real problem comes along, your boat's protected 24/7 with Progressive, so you can keep worrying about boater problems. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in D.C.
Here's the tale of Tina, searching up and down for decent GLP-1s, but got spun around.
Tell Good RX Road and hey, we got something new. GLP-1 prescriptions, all FDA approved.
Brand name meds, no flags that are red.
Clear pricing from the start. None of those hidden fees in your cart.
Delivered to your door or pick up same day. Darn tootin'.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
I put it to goodrx.com/weight loss. GoodRx is not insurance.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
If you need new roofing, siding or gutters, skylights or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. See Lance Roofing and Siding at their new location at 6903 Dayton Springfield Road in Enon. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722. Online at lanceroofing.com.
Get 5 quarts of Valvoline Full Synthetic Motor Oil and the MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $36.99. Limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Taco Bell's new Luxe Value Menu has 10 lavish indulgences, including the new mini taco salad, all for $3 or less. At participating Taco Bell stores while supplies last. Price and participation vary. Tax extra.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kenner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Cooper needs this free throw. It's up and no good. Rebound Cotton. Detroit Mercy a chance to win it at the buzzer. This is Stone with it off to Lovejoy. Lovejoy to the basket. Blocked by Pickett. Grabbed by Amari Bay. Kellen Pickett. How about that?
Easy peasy. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Oh, he is fired up.
Oh, my goodness.
And he's fouled.
Oh, my gosh. He just bailed Michael Cooper out big time.
Freshman helping the freshman.
Yep.
How? Look at him. Cooper's going over saying, thank you, my man.
He should.
Kellen.
Well, listen, there's 0.5 seconds to go. The Raiders have a 2-point lead.
Michael Amari Bay at the line for the double bonus.
Yeah.
What a comeback for the Raiders. First one is up. Got it. One more should ice it.
Well, should. It will.
Yeah, about 0.5 seconds.
It will ice it.
I know.
In fact, I'm not sure. Well, you want to make this.
Yeah.
But,
you want to make it.
Yeah, you want to make it.
Michael Amari Bay missed it. Rebound Cotton. He just throws it up. Yeah. And the Wright State Raiders are your 2026 Horizon League Tournament champions, and they have punched their ticket to the NCAA tournament.
Yes, they have.
What a game for the Raiders, coming all the way back from 12 down to a tough Detroit Mercy team. Kellen Pickett, what can you say about the freshman?
All right, everybody, welcome in. It's the Justin Kinner Show, Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM, off and rolling here on a Wednesday, a busy Wednesday, a lot to get into. We have Red Spring training action coming up at the top of the hour, shortened show today, but we'll dive in. We'll talk about some NFL free agent, news, headlines, all that stuff. Not a big Bengals move or anything like that, but it's a big move that does impact the Bengals, or the move that was made that wasn't made. I don't know what's going on in Baltimore. I don't think Baltimore knows what's going on in Baltimore. But we'll talk about that more coming up in a moment. I'm back from Indianapolis. It was a trip that was worth it. Wright State punched their ticket to their fifth NCAA tournament in program history. Head coach of the Raiders, Clint Sargent, going to join us coming up here in just about 15 minutes or so. But yes, last night, Wright State was able to pull it off. I mean, down double digits. I mean, there's been a few games over the last stretch of games where the Raiders have had to, they found themselves with their backs against the wall, but they've had to find a way to get it done. And they found a way to get it done last night in the biggest game of the season, the championship of the Horizon League Conference Tournament. A lot of conference tournaments tipping off this week. The Horizon League just wrapped their tournament up last night, and Wright State, the 1 seed, was able to, hold off Detroit, because got to give Detroit a lot of credit. I mean, there was they were up 29-26 at half, and there was a stretch where I'm like, Wright State I felt like was in control of that first half for the longest time, but you looked up, it's a 1 or 2 possession game. All of a sudden you blink, Detroit has a 1 possession 3-point lead at the half, and then Detroit comes out and they start swinging. Wright State went on a stretch where I think they were like 1 of 16 at one point. They couldn't buy a bucket. 0 of 10 from the 3-point line before they finally made their first 3-pointer, which of course came from Kellen Pickett, true freshman, who the block heard around the world. Kellen Pickett's block. Look, there was a lot of big highlight plays throughout this conference tournament that got a lot of attention, that got a lot of coverage. You had the alley-oop between the off the backboard setup by TJ Birch for Andre Holden, who's just, less than an hour down the road. He's from Hamilton, but he lobbed it off the backboard. That got a lot of play, of course, and then the block at the defensive end, which I think sums up the turnaround for Wright State this season, because they were one of the worst defensive teams in the country last year. I mean, horrifically bad defensively. And, we had Coach Sargent on at the beginning of the season and in the off season talking about that, they might have to sacrifice a little offense because they have to turn it around defensively. Well, it did look like they sacrificed some offense down the, early on in the season. But up until last night, they were on a stretch where 4 of their 7 games, they had scored 90 or more points. And when you are playing as good a defense as Wright State has all season, along with an offense that continues to progress to get better, that's why they became the best team in the league. Look, you come into this season, and this isn't just a Wright State thing. This is a Dayton thing, an Ohio State thing. This is any level of basketball. If you're going to sit there and look at a roster and dissect it, and you're going to say that there's going to be 2 true freshmen who are getting a lot of minutes, who are going to play key pivotal roles. I mean, you look at Kellen Pickett and what he provides size-wise and what he's able to do, to produce with that size. And then, of course, you look at TJ Birch, who's a transfer from Ball State. It's his first real year of getting playing time, of course. And Michael Cooper, who's a true freshman, a lot to be made about him and the talent that he brings to the table. But he was phenomenal throughout this run. If you're going to be playing 2 true freshmen and playing a lot of guys that are basically first-year players, second-year players, have a second-year head coach, you're going to have a lot of people, coming off last year where it was a bad year for Wright State. No one's going to sit there and say that roster has a chance to win the league. But that's what they were able to pull off. And that's what we're going to talk about with Coach Sargent coming up here in just a little bit. Again, it's the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio. Mark Daniels, he weighs in. He messages into the show. Says, will Wright State be seated at about a 15 or a 16? I don't pretend to be a bracketologist. I have no idea. I think when you're a conference like the Horizon, there's a ceiling for that. I think 14 is a seed that I've seen on a lot of the prognosticators, on a lot of the projections out there. You look at all the, the bracketology reports. Wright State's, there's some that have them as a 14, some as a 15. They will not be a 16. I think their net's too high. I don't think, and I'm one of those where I wish the net was actually worse, just because I wouldn't mind seeing them in the first 4 again, to be quite honest with you. A lot of people made a big deal about Wright State being in the first 4 years ago, how that's unfortunate. They win their conference tournament and then they have to play the play-in game. I didn't look at it that way. I looked at it as an opportunity for Wright State, in 2022 when they beat Bryant at UD Arena in the first 4. To me, I looked at that as an opportunity for them to get their first, and a chance to play a team. If you're Wright State, you win the Horizon, you're going to get a 15, a 14 seed. You're going to go up against a 2 seed or a 3 seed. Or if you're a 16, you're going to go up against a 1 seed. I mean, you're you know what I mean? Like the results already kind of predetermined a little bit. But if you're a 16 seed and you get in the first 4, you get to go up against another 16 seed. And that's another like opponent. You have a legit shot to win that game. And I'm sure athletics budgets love it too, because you win those games, you get a payout for it. It pays to win that play-in game. That play-in game's not for nothing. I have no clue why people are so down on it, because the first 4, which will be here in Dayton next week, a week from tonight, we'll be talking about these games or watching these games at the arena. The bottom line is those are standalone games. Think if you're a 16 seed going up against a 1 seed, they're tipping off at noon probably, all right? And there's going to be a lot of other games tipping off around that same time. You're one of many games that people are going to be flipping through the channels for, or one of 4 quadrants or 6 quadrants on the TV screen when people do do that feature on their YouTube TV and all that other stuff. Your standalone games. I see a lot of value in playing in the first 4, but Wright State's net ranking is too high. They're going to be in that 15-14 range. To give you an idea, those 2 seeds, the teams that are kind of in the mix, they could be playing in Nebraska, Michigan State. I saw Iowa State. Jim Brown was last night. No, stay away from Iowa State. I was like, well, what about Michigan State? No, they're Michigan State. I'm like, well, no matter who you go up against, all right, you're going to have that feeling of, oh man, that's a mismatch. Well, that's why the tournament's set up the way that it is. But I will say, focus on who they play later on. Selection Sunday coming up this week. But Wright State, what a turnaround this season. The Wright State finishes, the 23-11 on the year, 15-5 in Horizon League play, 66-63 the final last night. They were down by as many as 12. They come back and they come away with the 1 possession 3-point win. You heard Chris Collins and Jim Brown on the call on the Raider Radio Network right here on 1410 ESPN Radio, 101.5 The Fridge. But long weekend in Indianapolis, but it was well worth it. Knocking off Northern Kentucky in the semifinal, and then of course, and punching them in the mouth. By the way, like the close game that we got last night. You look at that matchup, and you would expect the result that you had against Northern Kentucky against Detroit, and it would be reversed. Detroit came to play last night, and Wright State might have been overlooking them a bit. That could have been it. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how you get there. They got there. Wright State back to the NCAA tournament. It's the 5th NCAA tournament appearance in program history, and it's the first NCAA tournament appearance, of course, for first or second year head coach Clint Sargent, who has been with the program for about 10 years now. I mean, he was a longtime assistant for Scott Nagy, who came here and replaced Billy Donlin years and years ago, of course, and he got the job when Scott left to take the Southern Illinois job, and in year 2 has the Raiders dancing again, whether it was 2018, 2022, and now here we are in 2026, and the Raiders are dancing once again. John Sladens, what up, John? Hope you're doing well. John Sladens says that the latest CBS bracket has them as a 14 seed against Nebraska. Yeah, I've seen a lot of similar type of projections out there. Let me hear. I'm pulling this up. This is Joe Lenardi's latest bracketology, for those who like to follow that, of course. But Wright State, as far as they're concerned, as I'm just basically trying to talk and buy time here to find where he has them on his latest bracket. But yeah, I've seen them kind of in that mix to play the likes of Nebraska as well. And it's the same thing. So Joe Lenardi has Wright State sitting at about a 14, going up against the likes of a potential Nebraska. Nebraska, a 3 seed, taking a look at some of the other 3 seeds to give you an idea of kind of who's in the mix. I mean, you have UConn and Michigan State, who's in the mix for 2 seeds, Iowa State, Alabama. Alabama last year faced the winner of the Horizon League and Robert Morris almost came out on top against Alabama last year. Alabama's a hell of a basketball program. So that just gives you a little bit of idea of some of the teams that they could potentially be in the mix to go up against. But what a night last night again. Wright State punching their ticket to the NCAA tournament for the 5th time in program history. 937-518-1410. We'll get to some NFL Bengals free agency offseason news coming up here around the corner. Clint Sargent, head coach of the Wright State Raiders, he'll join us as well. As far as college basketball is concerned, as far as these conference tournaments go, as far as the action today out of the top 25, Louisville up over SMU 21-19 out of the ACC. As far as the Big 12 is concerned, Iowa State got a win earlier this afternoon, 91-42, dominating Arizona State. I mean, I think right now a lot of eyes are on Arizona State, and the Hurley brothers. One's been winning national championships, and the other one might be holding on to his job for dear life at this point. But that's some of the action kind of going on right now. As far as one of the biggest stories in college basketball out of the MAC, a team that everyone thinks I just hate in Miami. I do not hate Miami. I just get tired of them trying to twist everything into them being the victim. 31-0 on the season. All right. They're going to be, on Thursday. They'll play tomorrow at 11 a.m. They'll be going up against UMass. Toledo and Bowling Green will tip off tomorrow as well in the MAC tournament, of course, and Akron, Buffalo, and then Ohio and Kent State. Full slate of action tomorrow out of the MAC. That's going to be, a lot of good games right there. But that Miami team, look, deep down, like I've said this before, I think if you're the MAC, you feel comfortable now that Miami's going to get an at-large bid. Not that a conference will ever come out and tell you that they're rooting against one of their own teams, but I will say that I do believe that the MAC, low-key, pulling for Miami to get upset or at least not win the conference tournament because they would love to be a 2-bid league for the first time in decades. And the way to do that, them get upset, have a bid stealer. I think all eyes in the favorite is Akron at this point, who their year, 26-5. I think Akron's just been overshadowed by the likes of Miami. But we'll see. It all comes down to this, the conference tournament. I don't think Miami has to win this conference tournament to get in. But like I said, I kind of want to see them lose in this tournament because I really want to see the discourse that happens regarding Miami on Selection Sunday when it comes to all the talking heads and how they kind of view the layout for Miami when it's all said and done. As we talked about, Wright State just wrapped up their Horizon League championship. They're going to be dancing. Ohio State, according to Joe Lenardi, about an 8 seed is where he projects them as we currently sit here right now. We'll actually have Ohio State basketball for you tomorrow We'll have that at noon, and that'll be right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Dayton's radio home for Ohio State and Wright State basketball. Wright State won't play again until next week. Who and where, we don't know yet. But Ohio State will be in action, and we'll have that for you tomorrow right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Nonetheless, to give you an idea, Ohio State will take on Iowa. Iowa, a 1.5-point favorite as far as that goes. All right, we'll step away for a few minutes. Head coach of the Raiders, Clint Sargent, he's going to join us next. The Raiders, 2026 Horizon League champions, 66-63, the final last night over in Indianapolis. We'll talk about that with Clint Sargent when we come back.
Brian Setzer, Slim Jim Phantom, Lee Rocker, The Stray Cats, U.S. Tour. We're gonna rock this town, rock it inside out. August 10th, Rose Music Center at the Heights. I got cat class and I got cat style. Tickets on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com and the Rose Music Center box office. Slip into the alley with the runaway boy. The Stray Cats rock.
Ready to free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business empowers leaders with smart business buying tools, leaving time to focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future at AmazonBusiness.com.
The future depends on teachers who are reinventing the classroom and starting their students on journeys that will change the course of history. Shape the future. Teach. Learn more and receive free support at teach.org.
That pallet of pavers collecting dust, the beginnings of a garden, those stray fence posts. Are you haunted by half-finished projects on your land? John Deere is here to say, not anymore. Our compact tractors allow you to swap implements easily, and they're backed by the nation's largest dealer network. You always had the right idea, and with the right tools, those projects can get finished for good. Nothing runs like a Deere. Learn more at johndeere.com/compact tractors.
Save $10 on a pair of Rain-X Latin.
My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Get the last roof you'll ever need with steel roofing from Menards. Steel roofing provides your home with the best protection from wind, hail, and fire. Choose from 29 stylish colors to enhance your home's appearance. Available in cut-to-length panels that cover a large area for a fast installation. Shop our selection of roofing products today. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on menards.com for all the great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kenner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. Now, back to the Justin Kinner Show right here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM.
All right, everybody, we welcome you back. It's the Justin Kinner Show, Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM, 937-518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. We'll get to your texts. We will get to your calls more coming up here just around the corner. We'll get into some more NFL stuff coming up around the corner. Look, I get it. We haven't really had a lot of time to kind of weigh in on everything kind of going on with the Cincinnati Bengals, the Cleveland Browns, obviously the NFL draft coming up, not too far off in the distance, of course. So we'll be keeping an eye on a lot of those mock drafts. A lot of Buckeyes could be taken in the top 10, not just the first round, but in the top 10. We'll have more college football for you around the corner. ESPN's Heather Dinich, just talked with her. She's going to be on with us next week. We'll sneak in some college football talk and some NFL draft talk with her. But before we focus on all of that, we got to focus on all the madness, of course. College basketball. I'm back from Indianapolis, fortunate enough to be able to go and follow the Raiders on their run. Wright State, of course, punching their ticket to their 5th NCAA tournament in program history. And, of course, they made us sweat a little bit. But they pulled it off last night, 66-63, the final over Detroit in the Horizon League Conference Championship game. I know at the moment we're working on getting Clint Sargent, the head coach of the Raiders, on the show. Once I get confirmation that he's ready to rock, we'll go. I think I see him now. I think we're good to go. So let's get to it. Head coach of the Wright State Raiders, the Horizon League Coach of the Year, and, of course, in year 2, leading the Raiders to the NCAA tournament for the first time as a head coach. Clint, Coach, appreciate your time as always. I know you're in high demand right now. How are we feeling today?
Doing great, Justin. Doing great. Thanks for having me on, and obviously excited to talk all things Wright State.
So you guys got back late last night. I know everyone's kind of reaching out to you, trying to get a hit with you right now. You're probably getting asked a lot of the same questions. Look, I've been fortunate to kind of have a little bit more of a front court seat, a front row seat to kind of see how the season has kind of progressed as the season has gone on. Look, coming into the year, if you tell me or tell anyone that follows college basketball that you're going to with your lineup, you're going to have a lot of true freshmen getting a lot of heavy minutes. You're going to have a lot of first and second year guys getting heavy minutes. You're in year 2 as a head coach. Things didn't go well last year. Like, you don't really know much about this roster outside of some of the returning players. I don't think people knew what to expect. I don't think we knew what to expect. But here you are, the 1 seed that wins it all, wins the regular season, wins the conference tournament, wins the championship last night. Has it settled in yet? I know there's so many moving parts right now. Has it settled in what you guys truly just accomplished last night?
Not completely. I think that's one of the beautiful things of accomplishing this, at least in my experience. It only gets better with time. And I do think when you're surrounded by great people, that holds true. And that was such a awesome moment for the community of Wright State, our families, our players. And you'd mentioned a lot of it, Justin. I think coming into the year, there was a lot of uncertainty, a lot of speculation, a lot of critics, and understandably so. It was a hard first year, but I do think going through that first year and feeling the pain and misery of losing, it gave me a lot of conviction, our staff, a lot of conviction about what do we need to do differently. I do think it helped me grow into how I'd like to run a program, what do I feel like I need around me in terms of players in the hearts of those players. And then to credit them, they came to us at Wright State when, again, first year, 15 and 18, and they chose to buy into what we were saying. And I do think because of that, it laid a very good foundation of people that were very right-minded, that wanted to be at Wright State, wanted to be with me and our staff for very great reasons. And when that foundation is set, then you can really grow. And I think that's what you've seen throughout the course of the year. I think everybody, October 20th, when we played Ohio, could see, man, we're different. You probably still had plenty of concerns with our scoring. But to just kind of grow through the season, and then, the story of our team is it's always been, our team, and different guys have stepped up at different moments. And we have freshmen, we have older guys, we have Logan Woods, 4th year in the program, and all that speaks to, in my opinion, which I'm thankful for, is a healthy culture where people are getting better, they're improving, and developing. And ultimately that's how I see my job, is develop young people. So all that being said, when that's being done at a high level, and then you get the mountaintop moment to celebrate and solidify those memories, now you're really talking about something special.
Look, that's your first NCAA tournament, or your first Horizon League championship win as a head coach, but you've won a few of these. You've been here at Wright State for 10 years now. You've been here a while, and again, you have experience being a part of championship teams here at Wright State. Feel different being the head coach versus being an assistant, a longtime assistant with Scott Nagy all those years? I mean, what was that like, as a head coach doing it after having, so many of these as an assistant coach?
Yeah, I think so. I think you just, when you're leading, you almost develop a sixth sense of just people, and it can be a good and bad thing. I think a lot of it, that's why it drives people insane, sometimes coaches, because you're so aware of the people around you, the good and bad, where they're at emotionally. And that's a great responsibility. And so when you have these very high moments of success and emotion, that's the best part, just very aware of, our family, my wife, Jill, our children, our staff, their families, our administration, and then all the fan base. You really get a great sense of that accomplishment for them and what it does for them. So that was the highlight, and continues to be the highlight for me, is just seeing all those little pockets of celebration for our players, all the hard work, sacrifice, going through doubt, failure, that wrestling match that we all go through, to see a moment where they get it forever. Nobody can take what this group did. I think in school history, it's our first outright regular season title combined with the tournament title. And, it's, so all that is very special. And as the leader of it, you feel a little bit differently.
Last night, the clock hit 0, and then everything just moves. I mean, everyone rushes the floor. There's the trophy presentation. You're cutting down the nets. You're doing interviews, players' families, your family, everyone running around. Is there a moment last night that just still sticking in your head? Is there a moment where you just sat back, paused, and just kind of took it all in? Is there a moment in the celebration last night? Maybe it was on the bus ride home. Is there a moment last night where you just really sat back and just appreciated everything?
Yeah, there was a few, one getting to show, hug Coach Montgomery. It's just like two coaches that going through the grip of this. I'll never forget that. And just an appreciation. He's been a head coach. He's done a great job. Just that moment was real. And, just the empathy in that moment. And then obviously seeing my wife, right after that, seeing our children. And then once we got in the locker room, as a team, two points. One, I turned, and Andre Holden and Aiden Davis hit me with a full, ice bucket, water cooler directly in the face, knocked me over. That would be one. And then to cap it all off, just the moment of prayer with our team right after. We pray before games, after games, staff meetings. And, it's the first thing we did with our team when we met in June. And then to get this moment when you go through all of it and just understand we're healthy, the amount of miles we traveled, the amount of just cutting, planting, diving, hitting, to just be completely healthy, and the amount of gratitude I have. to get these moments. So just a lot of appreciation.
You played for Scott Nagy. You coached with Scott Nagy. Obviously, you branch off. You're coaching now on your own. Has Scott reached out to you? Have you had any connection with them since last night? What's that relationship with Coach Nagy still like today?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's pretty steady. Coach, I haven't played for him, and then going through our journey here at Wright State, and this is the thing I love about it with our staff. We spend so much time together. You really go through life in the deepest, most intimate ways as a locker room, and just the struggle of it, and to see Coach lead well, the longevity he had. And now kind of stepping out and doing it myself, he stayed close to us and our staff. His time at Wright State was legendary, and I'm thankful to be a part of his coaching tree. And, not only coach, but just the former players. We had a number of former players at the game. And that's kind of the tradition of this place. And that's why I'm thankful to be the leader at this point of our program and for our staff. And coaches played a big part, and so many former players have played a big part, our administration, President Edwards, you go down the line. It really is a team effort.
TJ Birch, probably I like all your players, but TJ is my favorite to watch play. I think I tweeted this out earlier in the season. I'm like, you don't go to games to watch guys play defense. Like, you go to games to watch guys play offense, but TJ is one of those guys, like, he's fun to watch play defense. I'm just enamored by what he does at the defensive end. And then to watch where his game was offensively at the beginning to where it is now, to match the intensity that he plays with at the defensive end. Talk about his progression and what he meant to this team, to win Defensive Player of the Year, to get all the regular season awards that he was able to garner, and all well earned. But you guys don't have the success you have this year. Yes, for a lot of those parts, but TJ has to be one of those top reasons because of what he does at both ends of the floor.
Yeah, TJ just loves to compete, and I think that for anybody, regardless of what your background in sports is, you can always spot passion and competitive spirit, and he's brought that to our program. He's struck a nerve with me as a younger coach, wanting our teams to play and be that, but how do you do it? And he's led that so well, and I think we've been a great balance for each other. And then you said it, just his development. Coming here from Ball State in the summer and growing through a ton of just hard days and staying with it. He's so coachable. We always say just the yes face. I stare at these guys' faces every day, and they stare at mine, and he's always just sitting at the edge of his chair, ready for more. And that's how he plays. And I think his mentality is really overtaken our team, and we always say he's the sharpest point of the knife we're trying to play with out there, and he's fearless. And that's something you can speak it over your teams, but that just comes from heart and being unafraid and how he was raised, and certainly thankful to be with him at this point in his career, because he's taught me an awful lot.
Michael Cooper, and of course, you look at him coming in as a true freshman, and he's not the only true freshman you have on this team. You have the freshman of the year, of course, out of the Horizon League in Kellen Pickett. To see what those two have done, a lot of times, at this level, you'll see good freshmen come in that contribute towards success, but rarely do you get two true freshmen that come in and just take over. And that's what we've seen, and they've gotten better as the season come on. We talked about TJ Birch's development, but Kellen Pickett's development's been pretty phenomenal as well. Everyone's gotten better as the season's progressed. But just talk about that element there where it's tough for true freshmen, especially in today's college basketball, where a lot of high schoolers are being overlooked, in the recruiting world right now. Talk about what they've meant to your team and just where they started and to where they are now along this journey.
Yeah, they've meant an awful lot. Obviously, everybody can see the production and the confidence they play with, but I do think they've just really bought into the culture, and they came, they came to Wright State for relational reasons, for great reasons, and they've really helped me and our staff reshape the locker room. And then I think, they were unbelievable in the summer. Their June and July, the consistency in which they played with how they did conditioning, how they hit the weight room. I think they earned the respect of everybody in the summer. And then that gave them a foundation to then enter into the fall with the peer-to-peer respect. Obviously, they had the attention of our staff. And then as you go through the fall, sometimes you can hit the wall that most freshmen hit just because the workload is so much higher than what you see in high school, the intensity, the physicality, but they really never hit it. And, that's a credit to them, their high school, their coaches, Coach Roth and Coach Wilk, their parents, the upbringing. And then I keep saying, I just think our leaders, the seniors, the older guys on our team deserve a ton of credit for creating an environment where those guys know they can come in, play confidently, fail, and still be just respected and welcomed and going to be encouraged to go out there and cut it loose again. And I think for all those reasons, they're having success, but many of our guys, because we have a number of young guys, Andre Holden, Solomon Callahan, TJ Birch, Dominic Pangonis, they're all sophomores. So you really go down the line and you're seeing that no matter how old you are. I just think that speaks to the healthiness of the culture.
Selection Sunday coming up. A lot of conference tournaments still going on right now. Kind of like the Horizon League's conference tournament being when it is a little. I mean, especially you win it, you kind of got to you get a longer period of time to take it in. Some of these conferences, they crown their champion on the day of, then they turn their attention right towards Selection Sunday, and then it's the hustle and bustle of got to get to wherever site you're going to be playing at. You get a little bit more time to take it in, but have a few more days now to take this all in before Selection Sunday when you find out who you play. Just what does Selection Sunday mean to you as a coach who's experienced these in the past as a player and an assistant, but now as a head coach getting to head into a Selection Sunday? What are those nerves like sitting back, just getting to see kind of what's all transpiring?
Yeah. You said, I don't know if there's a better time frame. I don't know if there's, obviously I've never been to a Final Four as a coach, but the window between winning your conference tournament as a mid-major coach and then having that time in between, knowing you're in and you're waiting to Selection Sunday, I don't know if it gets much better because you get a little bit of a reprieve from the grip of it. You don't have an opponent. Obviously, you're going to continue to practice, but the season is so long and hard and the pressure of it, you just don't ever really get a time to take a little inventory and appreciate where you're at, let alone enjoy the rest of what's going on. And this is one of those perfect windows where we get to sit back and enjoy and look backwards a little bit, show some appreciation and gratitude. And then when Sunday comes and we know who we play, then that pressure, the grip you speak of, then that pops back up and it's go time. But this week, you can kind of take a little bit of a break, give them a couple days, and then enjoy watching the rest of the games, and then you get dialed in on Sunday.
Last thing, Coach, on the way out, again, if you're just joining us, it's the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio. Clint Sargent, head coach of the Raiders, Wright State, punched their ticket last night, knocking off Detroit 66-63, the final. They have now advanced to their fifth NCAA tournament appearance in program history. But, lots also made about, the traditional, conference tournament site locations, playing in Indianapolis or a chance to play at the Nutter Center in front of the fans. I did think last night was pretty unique. You guys have been to that final quite a few times, and the fans have always done a good job showing up. But I thought the fans that showed up in the semifinal against NKU and that rival matchup there, and the fans that stayed or came back for last night's championship, that place was loud last night. That was just a wall and sea of green. It was very cool seeing this fan base continue to grow and continue to come out and show out. How special was that last night to sit back, obviously see your players accomplish what they did, but to see the community and just to see the fan base grow and come out and support this team?
It's the best. I mean, our fan base deserves it. I'd say the last 3-4 years have been incredibly difficult for a proud fan base that expects a win, that understands the Wright State brand. I mean, the people that wear our brand and walk with us through it are the best of the best. And certainly I know that 10 years and what they've done for me and my family. So you get those moments to go for it all with them and to have them show up. And I thought in terms of environment, it was incredible. And for them to just be steady with us throughout the year, even through last year for me, again, having that appreciation and understanding of dark days a little bit, and now having some brighter days makes it all the more special.
All right, good stuff. Coach, I appreciate your time. I know it's just constant, moving parts here. Thank you for giving us some time today. Congratulations, and we'll see you on Sunday.
Thanks, Justin.
All right, good stuff. That's Clint Sargent, head coach of the Raiders. It's the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio, 937-518-1410, the number to call or text to jump in on the conversation. We'll be right back.
I love Wright Credit Union because they're solution driven.
I feel valued as a member.
They're focused on the latest technology and the personal connections.
Experience benefits that go beyond banking with Wright Credit Union. Just ask our actual members.
I definitely recommend Wright to all my family and friends as a credit union of choice.
Visit a Wright Credit Union member center near you. Based on individual members' experiences, results may vary.
Raise your hand if you're excited about feeling older faster than you should. No takers? Yeah, didn't think so. Ongoing pain makes you feel older than you are. But here's the good news. QC Kinetic patients here in Dayton are getting relief, feeling younger, jumping back into life full speed, and it didn't happen in an operating room. The QC Kinetic medical professionals use the latest regenerative treatments backed by real science, treatments that take the tiny, powerful healing tools inside your body, concentrate them right where you need relief. That's how Mike is training for a marathon instead of giving up running. Patrick's golf game is on fire again. Kathy walked around Disney with her grandkids. No pain. All real QC Kinetic patients. The sooner you start treatment, the sooner inflammation eases and the sooner joint damage slows down. Because no one signs up for feeling older faster. Find out if you're a candidate for QC Kinetic regenerative treatments. Your visit and consultation is free. 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. But wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
A is for ABS, B is for BCM, C is for CVT, D is for, don't worry, we're not going to quiz you, because at Carroll Works Tire, we know the auto industry is full of acronyms. But here's the one that matters the most, TIRE. Trust, integrity, reliability, expertise. Carroll Works Tire, keeping Dayton rolling from A to Z. Find us online at c-wtire.com or talk to a real human at 937-461-5441.
Dayton's radio home for Buckeyes football. 1410 WING. Dayton's ESPN Radio.
And Freddie and Harry at ESPN Radio.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
The forecast calling for rain and blustery conditions, 31 overnight, sunshine at 48 tomorrow, partly sunny and windy on Friday, and high of 58. I'm Rick Schrempf for 1410 ESPN Radio.